Right, we are live. Okay, so we'll just wait for a few people to jump on.
Yeah.
Because we are late. Now, anyway, if a lot of people may watch this on a replay anyway, you know, it is a small group, so people may hashtag replay later, ask questions, but we can repurpose this and share this after. One of your friends actually reached out today, someone who works with you.
Katie.
Yeah, what's the company called? Skin?
Self Studio.
Self Studio, that's it. Yeah. So I've been voice noting. I'm like, come into the Facebook group and watch. She went,
She hasn't got Facebook.
I don't have Facebook. I was like, oh my goodness, you grandma. So she's like, you need to repurpose it. I want to see it. I'm like, well, I'll talk to Sophia and we'll sort it.
Yeah.
Right, we've got a few people that have jumped on. For those that have jumped on, hello. What I would like you to do is make sure there's a link before you click onto this video which allows StreamYard to see your name. If you don't click on that and you comment, I'm not going to know who you are. So if you've just joined, go out, do that and come back in, or make sure when you comment, you actually say who you are in the comment. That's one of the things, Sophia, with StreamYard, which is absolute nightmare. It's amazing for streaming, but people will comment it just as Facebook user, and you don't know who's on your stuff. So guys, before we get started and before I introduce this lovely lady, I want to talk to you a bit about the platform. Now, this is why I look this rough. I'm not going to lie, this last couple of days on the platform has been horrific. There's been so many glitches, technical issues, the amount of codes and stuff in my head from one company to another that I have to copy paste TXT records. Do you even know what they are, Sophia? Seriously,
No.
It's just all been going tits up, and I've been getting messages from people in the platform saying I can't access this page, I can't access this video. It's charged me and it shouldn't have charged me. So for those that are watching, if you watch it on replay, then just give it a hashtag replay so I know who you are. But for those that are watching this, to let you know that all the background tech stuff has been resolved. It should have all been resolved. So if you come up with another problem where you can't access the platform or you can't post in the members lounge, then please reach out and let me know. For those that were charged, you shouldn't have been charged because you've all got 60 days free. Please reach out. I can pause your account. I can refund that amount. This was not a crafty way to say it's free and then charge you. I feel like a right fraud. Because I'm like, yeah, it's free for 60 days. And then they come in and they're like, yeah, you've just charged me 25 quid. I was like, so it wasn't part of the plan. I'm not that kind of businesswoman. So please reach out. 2 of you have already. Reach out. You will get it back. Or if you know you're going to carry on with the program, then I will just pause you for 2 months. That's what I'll do. So, okay. So tonight we have got a lovely, well, she's now a friend of mine, Sophia. I've been working quite closely with Sophia for probably 2 months now. We're probably halfway through our one-to-one coaching. And I wanted to bring Sophia on board because I wanted her to kind of share her story, because it's quite inspirational in where she's come from, what she's achieved, her pinnacle moments. And I just feel it was a good time for you guys in the community to actually hear from somebody that, you know, that we work together. So I would like to introduce Sophia Giorgio.
Hello, yes, and you said it right.
Yeah. Right, hey honey, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. You all right? Calm down.
Good. I've calmed down now. We had a bit of a glitch, so if you've noticed, I'm on an iPad now because I normally do the recordings on my, obviously the lives on my MacBook, but for some reason there's no camera detected. So me and Sophia were just frantically backstage. It felt like it was backstage, wasn't it? Frantically running around like idiots. So Sophia, tell everybody just tell people about yourself. Let them know who you are and what you do.
So I'm Sophia. I've been doing beauty, I think I think it's about 12 years now, actually. I come from a Greek family, so you might have read this in my bio. Very cultural, to the point where I think a lot of cultured families are a bit like, unless you're a doctor or a solicitor, you're not doing well. And it's like, it's all about education. It's all about being academic. And, you know, I think families just want you to do the best in life. And I think a lot of people think beauty, you know, it's just you're a bit dumb if you do beauty. It's not a good job. I feel like that has that sort of status, doesn't it, really?
Mm.
But I always knew I wanted to do beauty. I absolutely loved doing it. Every opportunity I could do it, painting anyone's nails, doing makeup, anything, I just wanted to do it. But my dad was just in disagreement. He didn't want me to do it. He thought I'd make no money doing it. So he just didn't agree with me doing it. But I saved up for myself for my course because at the time you had to pay for a kit, and he wouldn't pay for it, so I dropped out of college. He wanted me to go to like an academic college, so I dropped out of there and I went and did beauty, and I absolutely loved it. Like I really loved going. I knew it was what I wanted to do. And fast forward through, even like he's only just stopped, I'd say, but he really wanted me to be a solicitor, and he kept saying like,
Yeah,
why don't you go and be a solicitor? And I was like, I haven't been to uni, I haven't been to college, I can't just magically be a solicitor. I want to do beauty. Oh, you'll never make any money doing that. It's a stupid job. And I was like, no, you don't understand. And I think it's really difficult for the older generation because I think times changed. And I think when you speak to older generation and you tell them that you pay for makeup or you pay to get this done, they don't believe it because they're just like, why do you
yeah,
not do that yourself? And it's like because people like to get this stuff
yeah.
done.
And the thing is,
Um, uh,
well, is, the older generation will always enforce what they think you should do,
oh
because
yeah, and
probably
yeah,
they've not done it. Probably they're thinking, I should have done this, so I want. But you will end up, and there's so many people that just follow that path of, okay, I've got to get a trade. I've got to get a trade. I've got to do something. A lot of lads get a trade, be a plumber, be a joiner, and then you grow to end up resenting them. Then you actually,
100%, yeah,
hate your parents because you feel that they forced you down a path. So I applaud you for,
yeah.
standing your
And
ground,
that's what it
passing up
was.
some women.
I just hated. I love learning, don't get me wrong, because I absolutely love doing courses, but only in things I want to learn in. And I just knew that college wasn't for me. I found it really difficult. I just didn't see myself going to university because I just knew I just want to do beauty. And I feel like I genuinely wasted, I'd say, about 2 years of my life when I could have just been doing that in the first
Yeah,
place. But I get where it was coming from, they just think education's massive and, unless you've got a degree, you won't earn money. But there's so
yeah.
many people out there that have
Oh,
degrees, but then work in Tesco because they can't get a
oh
job with what they
God, the
do.
amount of people that I know that have put, the uni loaned up to the eyeballs,
Yeah,
and they've got all these qualifications, but then they're working a basic bog standard job,
yeah. And that's
and
it.
they probably end up going down that path because they've been advised or because society has kind of like influenced them to do that, and they
Oh,
don't
yeah.
actually want to. They don't want to, and they're
No.
resenting it,
And
So
that's it, yeah. And I just knew, I just thought, you know what, this isn't for me. I actually did work for my brother at one point. He opened a law firm. I wasn't going to be a solicitor, but I just did reception there to help him out when he first opened. I was I think about 19, 20 at the time.
mm,
And I just hated it. I just thought, oh my God, I hate being here. I hated just being on a reception desk, not talking to anyone. And, I just knew straight away, right, this
yeah,
isn't for
your
me. And
heart
this is,
wasn't in it.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
And I knew you have to go and do what you want to do. And,
yeah.
that's when I just thought, yeah, I'm following what my gut instinct and I'm going to
Mm,
do beauty. And I opened the salon. Believe it or not, my dad actually, he always put me off doing it and then eventually found somewhere and he was like, I think you should just go for it. And if it doesn't work, you do something else. And I was like, yeah, fine. I'm going to make it work because I know I want to. And not once, and I think I've had my salon 7 years in March, not once has he ever paid my rent for me. I've never had to lend money off him or anything. It always, if it meant at the start I couldn't take a wage for myself,
yeah,
I kept that business going all by myself
yeah.
because I knew
See,
that's
that
what I
is
want to do.
amazing. Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah,
With my first business, my first business ended up failing. I don't know whether I told you this, but my first business ended up failing because I was too reluctant to evolve, hence why I evolved so quickly in COVID. But same again, I never got bailed out. I didn't have a loan from my parents. It was
yeah,
a business loan. I had to pay the bank back and I had to work.
yeah,
The thing is once you start loaning from family, you're then going to be a little bit slack because you think, oh, it's only a week, it's only a week. Whereas if you've got
mm,
that rent to pay, you're going to pay it.
yeah.
So you've had a salon, and then let's fast forward to the dreaded C word, COVID.
Yeah,
What did
so
that do to you?
COVID was really tough actually. Don't get me wrong, I genuinely thought we'd be shut for 2 weeks. So I was living my best life in them 2 weeks because I thought, wow, 2 weeks off work.
Wow.
I'm forced to be at home. Like, this is a dream. I did what everyone did. I did cleaning. I did, slept in, all sorts. And then it got to the point where I was like, shit, we're not reopening here.
Yeah, yeah.
And I started to think, before we got all the grants and things like that, I thought, oh my God, I don't think if I'm going to be able to survive this COVID. I spent my savings on bills, so I had no money. I had to keep, obviously everyone had to keep paying their bills, their electric, rents, everything. And it got to the point where I was just like, you know what? If my business shuts, who gives a shit? I'll just go work back for my brother again. I'll just ask him if I can work from home. Like, I'll just live the life at home. And I was just thinking, like, that's what I do. And then I thought, no, you know what? You
No.
work too hard to, like, just give it up. And I just couldn't imagine me going back to doing something I hated doing after
Yeah.
doing something I loved.
Yeah.
So I just thought, right, okay, maybe use this time wisely. You don't ever get time to either step out the business and just think, okay, how can I make it better? How can I come back with a bang? What can I do? And I was on Facebook one day and I just seen it was like a little masterclass or something on mindset and stuff. And I've heard about law of attraction and things like that, and I've heard a bit about it, but I've just never looked into it or anything. It's never crossed my mind. I've just heard about it. And it was just a bit about that. And then the more I started to think, oh my God, invest in myself. And even though I was earning no money, so many good things were happening, so many opportunities.
So
My
fulfilling.
mindset,
Yeah.
completely changed. And I then had a goal of, right, okay, this is what I'm doing when I reopen. I don't care how I'm going to get there, what I'm going to do, but this is what I'm doing. And even now, like, obviously with you, like you've seen, we're doing one-to-one, is I don't care. I will constantly keep investing in myself because I know
Grafter. Yeah.
it's what you need going forward. And having my salon nearly 7 years and only noticing coming back from COVID is where I've seen my salon just boom.
Yeah.
And it annoys me because I think, well, if I would have done this 7 years ago, I would
Oh,
have been
tell me
in.
about it. I have them moments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I just think, what, all that stuff you've done now, imagine
But
doing that seven
everything is a
years ago.
lesson. This is what you've got
Yeah,
to remember. Everything's a lesson. So my first business, I had a beauty salon for quite a few years. It was good. It was great. Social media started coming out, and I'm like, no, we don't need social media. Facebook now, that'll come and go. That's just a phase. And then we hit a recession, and I closed my business, and I blamed the recession. And I blamed
yeah,
the recession for 3, 4, 5 years after. I was like, no, my business failed because of recession. And then it just dawned on me, I'm like, no, you dick. It didn't. It failed because of you. Because I was too reluctant to evolve. I was too reluctant to invest in myself. I was too
yeah.
reluctant to actually think, you know what? There's a bigger world out there than just passing trade. Who relies on passing trade now? That's all I relied on.
Yeah, and I also think, like, for me, I don't think twice now about how much it cost investing in myself. Whereas before, if you would have come to me and said, 3, 4 years ago, do you want to do this? It's going to be X amount of money. I would have been like, oh God, no, I'm not spending money on that.
Yeah.
I can spend it on doing like, whatever. Whereas now I don't actually think twice about how much something costs because I know where it's going to get me and what it's going to do. And
Yeah.
the first course that I did investing in lockdown, I think it was like £500, and it was a social media course. And I used savings to do that actually because I did like a free live masterclass and I learnt loads. And I thought, I built all these followings and I built all this hype about reopening all in lockdown whilst I had earned no money and couldn't see anyone.
Yeah.
But I was constantly on Instagram all the time
Yeah.
because I
Constantly
learnt to
reminding
show
people.
up. Yeah, and I was always there, and people were like, "Oh God, what are you launching? What are you doing?" And I had all these ideas, all because I had the time to sit at
Yeah.
home, and then I was investing. And then from that first course, I was like, I'm just going to keep investing money in
Yeah.
myself, and because it doesn't only help with your business, it also helps with you. And I feel like when I had the salon, it was like a job. It's a job anyway, but I mean a job in the sense of I'd go to work and I'd come home and
You'd
that
do
would
it
be
and
it.
you'd come home, yeah.
Yeah, and
Whereas
I
now
wouldn't
you'd
know.
allocate time for business development, right? So part of your day-to-day work is, you know what, I've got treatments for 6 hours that day, but these 2 hours I'm going to work on, you know, development, subscriptions. Obviously, we're working on putting in, you know, things in place into your
Yeah.
business to level up, you know. And it's interesting you say about investing yourself, because a lot of people become course junkies in this industry. It is just a vicious, it's a downward spiral. I don't care how anyone says it, it is a downward spiral. And I think actually advancing a skill, so say if you do eyebrow tattooing, like me, for instance, to actually then pay to make my eyebrow technique better, I think is a good idea, because then you become a celebrity and a go-to in that field. But thinking, you know what, eyebrows are not earning me enough money. I'm going to learn how to do, I don't know, eyelash extension. Oh no, that's not doing it. So let me go and learn to do laser and buy a machine.
Yeah.
And you end up going from one to another and
Yeah, and
investing
you
a lot of money, but an investment in
of all trades
yourself,
then. Yeah.
and just having that one service, people just try and spread themselves too thinly. And when they actually look at their incomings, they're just moving it from one pot to another because they can't generate more time.
Yeah. And that's something I did. I'm really sorry, I keep looking over there because there's a spider on the wall and like, please don't come
Don't come at me.
No, when I started the salon, I did every single treatment you could think of. I did every single course because I was like, you know what, I'll just offer everything. It's just me. I'll just be the person that offers everything. And I never specialised in anything. And looking back, like those 2 hours, 3 hours I would have spare if I had no clients in, no word of a lie, I would just sit and watch Netflix on my phone.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I very rarely get a spare half an hour or 15 minutes. But if I do, I'm like, right, okay, maybe I can plan content, or what can I do? What can I look at? How do you know things like that? I use my time wisely now because I know of the things. Time is, you know, time's precious, and I know, okay, I've got an hour spare. That's meant to be. I'm going to do this now. Whereas before, I'd be like, oh, I'll just watch the next
You just
episode.
fill it with fluff. This is a really important thing about time, actually. I did a podcast ages ago about this. Like, people will, so for instance, like, I've got kids, I've got businesses, you know, I'm very busy in life. But what you'll get is, for instance, like, I don't know, you'll have a doctor's appointment, you've got a day off, let's say, or a day when you're not working on treatments, and you've got an appointment at 10 a.m., but you drop the kids off at 9, you would then just discount between 9 and 10. You're like, oh, well, I can't really do anything because I've got that at 10. But in that time, you could actually schedule, create, and do 6 social media posts for every single day running up until the weekend.
Yeah.
You know, in that time, people discount snippets of 15 minutes here and there and everywhere.
Oh, yeah. And it
like
all adds up. Yeah.
Yeah. This live that we're doing now is 30 minutes. It's going to be about 30 minutes. Might be a bit over because we do talk. But, you know, we could easily be like, oh, baby, we don't do it. But this is good for me. It's good for you. It's good for the following. And it takes 30 minutes. It's not, you know, people do think, oh, well, oh, no, I can't do that because I've got to be there in 45 minutes. So I'll just get on my phone and have a little bit of a nosy. I don't scroll.
And you end
I
up
don't
just
get into no
scrolling
scroll.
on Instagram, watching shitty videos like of just crap. And after you know it, 2 hours have gone, and it's like people wondering why the businesses aren't growing or why they're not getting clients and that. It's because you're wasting your time by constantly looking at social media. Like, it's good to look. I do scroll, but I scroll for real inspiration. So I'll scroll for new reel like audios, new reel ideas. So that's the only reason I scroll. And I just keep going until I find something I like, and I'll do that tomorrow, or that'll work for that.
With a mindset.
I'm not just doing it because I'm like, oh, I've got an hour.
Yeah, I do that, and I watch some reels. I'm like, oh, I like the words of that. I like the lyrics of that. Yeah. I also obviously, and I do connect with a lot of people, chatting and talking, but the people who are in the industry, and it's more supportive, that type of thing.
So, and that's something else that worked for me in lockdown actually is I've realised by doing all this mindset is I start to think, God, I actually don't have a lot in common with people, because, you know, people are negative, or, oh, I wish I could do this. I wish I had
Sophia,
that.
I have no friends. And I fucking love it. Sorry, friends, if anybody's watching this. If any friends are watching this podcast, it's probably going to come out as a podcast or a YouTube video, then drop me a message. I'm going to wait now because I'll see what friends actually do follow me. None.
And I started to actually have the balls just to message. I messaged this girl on Instagram actually. Really loved her page. She owns a salon in, I think it's Newcastle under Lyme. And I really love her mindset. And I just feel like she's someone I could really get on with. And I actually messaged her just saying, like, do you want to go out for lunch one day? And she said the same as you. She's like, yeah, I don't have many friends. Like, I don't have anyone I've got
Love it.
stuff. And it's funny because I think, God, the more you start to learn about mindset, the more you think, God, I don't have a lot in common with people. And
Yeah.
that's when I started just to connect with other people. And
Yeah.
another reason why I probably came across your page is because, I don't know, I feel like it brings me to people that resonate with me and the things
Yeah.
I
No,
like and
definitely.
the
Yeah.
attitude you
I
have.
think it's so important. And I think, you know, when we talk about surrounding ourselves with people that bring out the best of us,
Yeah,
you know, that is
it's
on
so
social
true.
media
Yeah,
as well. You know, it's not
yeah,
just the friends and the family. Like I've obviously got a lot of, I've got a lot of friends and family that are not so supportive in what I'm doing, similar to
yeah,
kind of the old school kind of concept of dads want you to get an education and
yeah.
oh, what is beauty coaching? Is that even a fucking thing? I'm like, yes, it is a thing, Dad. Yes, it is a
Yeah,
thing.
that's
Make
something
money
my
from
dad
it,
would
and I
say.
enjoy it. You know, so I don't. But what I do is I only tell. Obviously, your friends and family are always there, so you kind of engage in certain conversations with them. But on social media, it's so important. People still get in a vicious scroll and kind of have people on their friends list that are not inspiring. They're not bringing out the
Oh,
best of
yeah.
them, and I think it's really important to make sure you're
Uh,
surrounding yourself with the people that bring out
yeah.
the best of you.
I started to actually unfollow loads of accounts that,
Yeah,
if you feel like you're following accounts that make you feel shit or make you feel like your life's shit or, oh, I wish I did that, unfollow them because that's the best thing I did.
yeah, get
And I
rid.
just started to follow inspirational stuff because I just
Yeah,
think everyone's on a different path in life. And I feel like with Instagram, I could make my life look amazing on Instagram if I wanted to, but it could be fake, but people
yeah,
would believe it.
yeah,
But that's when it was only still started to do mindset, started to think more positive, that I started to think, God, you're negative, or that friend's negative,
yeah.
or
And you
God,
started to,
she moans a lot. Like, there's no wonder you're not getting what you want, is because all you do is moan. And I
yeah.
just started to really distance myself from people
Yeah,
because they were
expose,
dragging
remove,
me
and
down.
block. Yeah,
Yeah.
expose, remove, and block. That's what I did. So, talking of, obviously, we've been working together for a while now. But talking about, so what are you working on? What are you working towards? What have you kind of realized over these last couple of months of working together on what you want to do? You know,
So
where are you now?
working with you made me realize that something you said that always sticks with me now is you said what we do is service in exchange for money, and it made me really think, like, yeah, well, actually, I don't want to work more days and I don't want to work more hours, so how can I earn money by not working more?
Yeah,
And it wasn't until you started to give me all the ideas of what I could do to be like, yeah, actually, when I go on holiday, that will earn me money. Or,
yeah,
you know, I always thought I wanted a salon with, loads and loads of staff. But then after speaking to loads of people and just realizing, like, I don't mind working on my own because it's only me I have to worry about.
yeah.
Whereas with staff, more staff, more problems,
More problems.
basically.
Yeah,
And I just kept saying to myself, I don't want to keep having to do all these new courses, just like you said as well, is
yeah,
looking like, oh, everyone's doing that, maybe I'll do that and make money from there. And it's always temporary money because it's not something that will keep you going, because then there's a new course that will come out and then you'll
yes.
be like, oh, actually, I'll do that now.
Then you've got to put in more
And
time to deliver the
more
call.
time, more investment, and then it's just like you said, it's moving money from one pot to the other.
Yeah.
So it made me kind of think a bit smarter and think, okay, well, right, well, what can we do? And that's when we started to think about subscriptions and things like that. So it's kind of really shifted my goals actually.
Okay,
When I
that's
think
good.
about where I wanted to go, since working with you, I've shifted my goals in the sense of, yeah, actually, I could make what I earn now online, or I could do it
Yeah.
buy subscriptions, or I can do it where I could drop my days and I can have another day working on, the business at
Developing
home or
your
whatever.
courses
Whereas,
because you're
yeah,
well known for your eyelashes. Yeah, and this is the thing, you know, and it's not your fault. All these people out there that are in the industry, me as well, you know, I only had this epiphany, you know, 3 years ago, and obviously ended up realizing that, you know what, I've earned more money in lockdown and not touched a face by doing virtual treatments and having it was absolutely crazy. That was the one day for me that completely changed things, where I went live for 1 hour. I sold 50 kits at £30 each, and I'm sat there for 1 hour earning £50 times 30, or £30 times 50. And I'm like,
Oh, it
how
looks
the
like
fuck?
1,500 quid, I think.
Yeah. Obviously, I
It's
had the
crazy.
cost of the product,
Yeah.
but obviously we have a markup on that. And I'm like, have I just done that? Whereas that would, the client would come in, I'd have to drive to work, do the client, and I'm like, no, this has got to change. But that is what we're trained to do. And it's really interesting because I had a meeting today with the Doncaster Council about creating a course which actually can run alongside colleges.
Yeah.
So basically, having something where you can teach these people that are in college, they learn the craft. You learn the craft and you learn the skill, but you also have knowledge with that as well. So with skin, you learn about skin, but you're taught for time for money. You're taught time for money, that's it.
Yeah.
So you're
And
then
you
in the
know
rat
what?
race of time for money.
Yeah. And it wasn't until I started to think, I actually used to get really jealous of clients that would write, yeah, you know, if you have a baby, I've got a year off. And I would say to my boyfriend, like, I don't even think I could have 4 weeks off. It would be
I
2
had
weeks and
3
I'd be,
months off. 3
yeah,
months I
and
had
I'd
off.
be back in work. And I did start to think, like, obviously I'm not pregnant, we're not trying or anything like that. But I started to say, like, you know, we're going to have to save a shitload of money. We're going to have to
Yeah,
think about nursing. And it made me feel shit because I thought, why do I have to miss out on that opportunity of having
exactly.
my baby grow up, you know, alongside me, in the sense of watching them do the first steps and things like that,
Yeah,
because I have a business. And it's always because, well, I thought, right, well, clients will just leave, or how am I going to make money?
I
They'll
can't
just
do
go
the
somewhere
client.
else. And
Yeah,
it was always in my head. Whereas now I think, no, because I'll make that money, because working with you and knowing what's possible, I know, right, well, even if I make half of what I earn now, I'm still earning
yeah,
and I can still be off. Whereas before I'd think, oh, well, I wouldn't get paid. Clients wouldn't stay. They wouldn't wait for
yeah.
3 or 4 months. They'd go somewhere else.
And that's
Whereas,
it. Yeah,
and you know, it put me off. Like, we're not ready for kids yet anyway, but it put me off because I was always scared of, God, what if I do get pregnant? What am I going to do about work? I
yeah.
can't shut. I can't have it. And I'd panic because I think, what am I actually going to do about it? And I feel
See,
like
that
it's not
happened
just
with
me
me.
that thinks
Yeah,
that.
that's what
It's
happened with
everyone in
me,
this
obviously.
industry, because
Yeah.
who pays us to be off?
No, you don't get enough. I had, obviously, I've got 2 kids and I had a major hip operation. So, obviously, the hip operation, not as long, but still could not put a foot down on the floor for 12 weeks. So, when I look back at my accounts, when I had my children, I had my hip operation, I've got my accounts here, dropped. Then it took me a good 6 months to get up, and then it dropped. Up and dropped. I was like, and obviously, COVID, it proves that the system is broken. It proves that what we are taught in college works for the craft but doesn't work for a business.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for a business. It doesn't create a scalable business. It doesn't create something that it can create anything that's evergreen. It
Mm.
doesn't create anything where you can go on holiday and know that you're going to get bills paid. You know, because
Well, this is
every
the thing,
single
isn't it?
action we take, you're
Yeah.
like, shit, let's get the clients in quickly because I'm going on holiday next week. Like,
Yeah.
I know now that I can do coaching, sat by the beach if I want to, because I've got my
Yeah.
iPad. So I've now created a spaceless aspect for the business, and I know
Mm.
I'm coaching, but people can do that in beauty. That's easy done. And I've also created loads of subscriptions. So if I have a really quiet month, then I've still got my month. I've
Mm.
still got my payment coming
Yeah.
in on the fit. Like it, I actually got paid. I've had a really quiet week. Today, I had all my subscriptions went through today. I'm like rolling it in today, but I've not. I've had a quiet week. You
And I
know.
think that's it as well, isn't it? Because I don't take a day off unless I'm on holiday. I physically don't feel comfortable having a day off knowing I'm just sat at home, because I think, well, I'm not earning any money. I should be in
Yeah.
work. And I'm going to Thailand for 3 weeks for my 30th birthday on Boxing Day. And I still feel guilty now that I'm having that long off work. And I keep thinking, no, it's your birthday. It's like, you've never done this before. Stop feeling guilty. And it's because you just talk like, oh, well, when you're not earning, when you're not working, you're not earning. So you have to be working. And even my dad now, why are you off? Why are you not in work? Or why'd you finish early? And it's the
But now your
constant
mindset's
guilt.
different, girl. Your
Yeah.
mindset's different. So
Yeah.
this is your deadline. So you're going away at Christmas. We're already working on subscriptions together. We're already working on, online platforms. You've got a lot of content there that you're selling out. You're doing like Instagram audits, all sorts of stuff. That's your deadline, to make sure that by the time you get on that plane, you know that you're going to have a little bit of money popping into your bank account while you're on holiday. So that is your goal now.
Yeah.
I've
And
just
that's
made
it.
that
And that,
accountable. So then people that are watching, you heard it here. That's her goal.
and I think before working with you, I wouldn't have ever thought to do something like that. I wouldn't know how it works, what to do. Did people even do anything like this? And and I feel like that's why it's so important to, if you see someone or you want to work with someone, just do it, because you learn so much. And it's not, I've done so many courses, not treatment wise, but self-development, business development, because you learn something different off each person. And that's how you do scale your business, because in college and on the courses you don't learn how to run a business. You just learn how to do a treatment.
No,
like
you don't.
like I say, when I first started the business in the salon, I didn't know how much I made per week, because I didn't write it down. I was just like, I probably came out with this much, and I thought I was rolling in it, because I didn't know how to work out my expenses or anything like that.
No. You probably just looked at the market around you, right? Okay, what do they charge? What do they charge?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
All
right, I'll go £1 cheaper than them, because then they'll come to me. And it's like,
I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'll just shove it there. It is. Oh, Emma, thank you. Lush Live ladies, she said. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
But do you think also, this is also something I was thinking about, do you think people that, because obviously like social media is a little bit of smoke and mirrors with a lot of people, do you think people that are in the industry, like us, I know I do the coaching, but I still do treatments as well, do you think people are a little bit either embarrassed or ashamed to actually say, you know what, I need help with my business? Do you think they assume that they should know, or people will think poor of them? Because there's so many people that don't reach out. But then, it popped into my head. I met somebody on a night out. I know of her anyway from Doncaster. She's in the beauty industry. She was a little bit tipsy, and she opened up. And I've sent her all my podcast information. Join this 5-day free accelerator, 60 days free into the coaching plan. I've sent her everything. Not once even give me a like or an emoji on it. Whereas when she had a couple of drinks, she was like, you know what, I'm sick of time for money exchange. I'm sick of this. And I'm like, why haven't you reached out? Do you think people are scared of reaching out?
Yeah, and I feel like if she's from your area, it's that little bit of embarrassment of not wanting to admit, she's not doing as well as what she probably makes out she is on social media. And I think that's the problem with social media is, and why I try to say to people is, don't take everything so literal, because, you can make your life look amazing. I could make my salon, the salon is busy, but if I was a newcomer, I could make my salon sound like it's the place to be. It's amazing. We're busy with this, with that. And you don't know, I could just be sat there for 3 hours on my own doing nothing. But on Instagram, it doesn't look that way.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people are looking at all these salons, because it's something I did, to be honest. I would look at salons and I'd be like, oh God, their salons are all pink and it's all this, and they're doing that, and they're always busy. And I'd constantly compare myself, and it would stop me looking at my business, and my business would go down, because I'd be always looking at someone else's, being like,
trying to keep up with the Joneses,
trying to keep up with them, and not actually thinking, right, well, what's your ideal client? Why do people come to you? And I feel like I let that go, because I was constantly comparing myself as to, why are they doing that, or they've got this, they must be earning this much. And it's only now that I've stopped doing that, and I genuinely don't look at competitors, I don't look at the salons, and I don't care, I wish them all the best, is because I know if a salon opened next door to me, I wouldn't be bothered, because I know what I need to do and to keep my clients, and I know how to gain clients, and I know what my niche is, and I don't care about other people. It doesn't matter. And I think that's what it is when people don't want to reach out, because they think, oh well, that person's only 19 and they look like they're smashing it. And I think that's the problem, is we're constantly comparing ourselves, whereas it took me COVID to not earn any money at all, have the time to actually think, shit, you might lose this business here.
Focus on you.
And what are you going to do?
Yeah, you've got to. I don't look at competitors in the coaching sector at all. I do follow a lot of people in the permanent makeup and skin aesthetics because
Yeah.
I'm actually really intrigued, and they are potential, you know, clients for me as well. So I do connect quite a lot. But if you are passionate about what you do and you've got your niche and you've got your idea, you know, you just go for it. It shouldn't matter what everyone else is
Yeah.
doing, you know, because if you start kind of going off course, and I did this, I started going off course with my coaching journey and did a life coach course. And even though it's complemented what I do, it made me too generic and too broad. And then before I know it, I'm like, do I actually want to coach people that have gone through divorce and shit? I was like, nah, get back to beauty, I'm not doing that. But I kind of just like started following this path. I was like, whoa, pull it back.
Yeah.
So we are, even if we're quite strong, passionate, determined people, you can still get influenced. Emma's just put a comment here saying, business should be forever evolving to achieve on your path. So
Oh,
many
yeah.
are stuck on a hamster wheel, sadly.
Yeah.
Exactly. They are stuck. And I think also what my realization is since COVID is COVID thrusted us 10 years forward. Okay. What COVID did in terms of the digital world was
Oh, yeah.
always going to happen. It was always going to happen. We was always going to be forced to do live meets, Zooms, downloadable courses, virtual treatments. That was going to happen. But COVID has just made that journey 2 months.
Yeah, I
but
didn't even
people are
have
still stubborn. They're still stubborn and want it old school way.
I didn't even have an online booking system before COVID. I was still pen and
Wow.
paper because I was too scared of, oh, what if I double book or what if this happens? And it's the best thing I ever did. And we still get some people come in now like, oh, do you not have a paper price list? And I'm like, no, because I spent so much money printing them out.
Yeah.
If a price changed, I'd have to scrap the old one and buy new
It's so
ones. Like,
expensive. Yeah.
yeah, just, you know, download this
Scan the
QR
QR
code.
code.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think, yeah, and I think as well with our industry, this is something I've realised is I don't know why, but I think it's known for being a bitchy industry. I think we're too scared to connect with other salons because it's like, oh God, no, they won't help me. I'm not going to ask them what they used on that
But
client.
there's so much business around. This is the problem. Everybody has
Yeah,
beauty.
and it's only now, like, people are nice. Just ask the person. Ask them,
Yeah.
like, what they've used. Ask them, oh, do you know, can you recommend this or whatever? Because they will answer back. Like, I get people in lockdown when they were talking about repatch testing. I couldn't believe the amount of therapists that didn't know you had to patch test clients every 6 months. And I got people messaging me saying, oh, how come it's this? And I wasn't going to be like, oh, can't believe you don't know that. I answered them because I think we should all help each other in this industry because there is room for everyone. It's £1 billion industry. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter
And it's forever
if
growing.
we're all doing the same because it's a lonely industry when you work on your own.
Yeah.
And that's something I struggled with because obviously I opened this salon on my own. I had no clients, had no staff. It was just me. And if anything went wrong, I literally had no one to speak to about it. And it wasn't until I met Katie, actually, the girl you messaged before, and she worked in a salon, and I became really friendly with her. She came and got makeup done once, and you know, we kept talking. And if anything went wrong, I went to her because I knew I could trust her. I knew she'd be able to tell me.
Yeah.
Whereas I wouldn't just message any salon because I just think they'd think, oh God, why have you got business? You shouldn't be doing that if you don't know. And it is really lonely. Whereas now, I do think COVID. Yeah, I do think COVID has brought a lot of us together now.
And it's this whole online form, hence why I created this tribe, which then developed into the online training platform. It's why I created it, because we all have the same struggles in business. We all are trying to get our diary filled. We're all trying to think, how can we scale? We all don't know how to use. The thing is, we rely on our craft. Our craft doesn't give a business. Our craft is our skill. We have to learn when to outsource. We have to learn when we can't actually fulfill that task and think, you know what, that's not my forte. That is not my forte. I am good at this. I want to do this. So you know what? Now is the time that I pay you to do that part of the business for me. We have to know our strengths. And I think it's because that the people that are attracted to the beauty industry are quite independent, creative people. And I think they believe that creative genius inside them, that passionate side, is going to then enable and makes them become stubborn is going to enable them to do everything. It's like, yes, I can do that, I can do it. It's like, no, you can't do everything. I don't do
Yeah,
everything.
and I also think it's the money as well, because it is, you learn that, you know, again, no one's paying you for if you've got an hour cancellation or whatever. So if you start to think, oh, well, that person wants £300 to do my social media, oh God, no, that's a lot of money, I'll keep that. Whereas actually, time is worth a lot more
Yeah.
than the money in your bank, because that then opens you up to do other stuff in your business
Higher
to then
ticket
make
items,
more money.
focusing on the higher
Yeah,
tickets.
yeah, because, and that's what's difficult. It is like everyone in this industry, we go to work, we start at say like what, 9, 10 o'clock, and we don't get home till 8. I don't sometimes eat till 10. I don't want to start working on my business at 10 p.m. at night.
No.
Whereas, you know, if I have an hour cancellation, I'm like, right, what can I do in this hour that can free my time up tonight where I'm
Yeah.
not having to do it? Because it's a lot to think. You can't do both. You can't do business and treatments all in one day. It's,
No.
do you know what I mean? And I stopped working a Tuesday for that reason, because I felt like I didn't have time to work on the business. So I dropped a Tuesday. I decided to
So
take the
you've
loss.
dropped Tuesday in your
Yeah,
business. So technically, in days, you're earning less because you're not
yeah,
working that
yeah.
day. But how's the business doing in terms of you dropping that day?
Even better. I earn more money in 4 days than I did in 5.
Because your
Because I
business
have
is
the time
working
to work
more
on the business.
effectively. You've
Yeah,
got time to focus on working on the outside of the business. So stepping outside, looking
yeah,
in, right, what the hell do I need to do?
yeah,
Where's my problems? Let's work on, I know like email automation was a big thing for you that we've been working on.
yeah,
Getting everything seamless, getting every single part of the business seamless. So you can then, when you are in clinic, you're earning high ticket. When you're out, you're creating these
yeah.
systems.
And that's what I noticed since COVID, was having all that time off to have all these ideas and, you know, working on the business, to then go in working 5 days a week and being really busy, to being like, oh my God, I have no time to work on the business. What am I
Yeah,
going to do? And it was overwhelming. And I just thought, I'm dropping the day. I have to
yeah,
drop a day. And it was scary, because it's like a full day's worth of work. It's a lot of money, but I just thought I need that time to work on the business. And I didn't want to do it on my days off, because I didn't want to constantly think about the business 7 days a week, because you just don't get a life otherwise.
no,
And I decided I'm dropping a Tuesday, and it was the best thing I ever did. Like, I couldn't go back to working 5 days a week. But that Tuesday, I schedule like my coaching with you. I'll have that in the morning. And then I'll work on whatever we've been working on. I then start to look at, okay, I want to do courses, I want to do this. And it has the time, and it gives me the full day to be able to
to actually get
have
your
that
teeth into
creative
something.
mind of,
Yeah,
okay, what can I do to now
where do I
scale
want
the
the business
business up?
to go?
Yeah.
So what is, we're going to have to wrap, oh, I've got another comment as well. Victoria, loving this live. Everything makes perfect sense. Thank you,
Oh,
honey. So what is the next step for you then? Obviously, we've heard your journey, what you're doing, how it's changing, but what is,
yeah.
where are you going from here? What are your, I'm all about goals. So what is,
Yeah.
what
So my
working towards?
goal, so business goals are definitely getting my subscriptions up. So I have worked out what I would be, this is something I learned. So what would be my happiest, my happier, and my happy. So they're my
Okay.
goals of what I want to do. So at least I know, oh, I only got 10 people on it, or if I got 50 people on it, between that range, I know I'm going to be happy
Oh,
either
brilliant.
way. So that's something, definitely my subscriptions, because that will open me up to, you know, even in Thailand, just knowing I'm earning money, just being
Yeah.
on holiday and not having the worry of, oh my God, what am I going to do about February pay? What am I going to do about
Yeah.
this?
And not be stressing about trying to schedule a few posts in to get some
Yeah,
money for when you get
yeah,
back because the
yeah,
subscription's already set up.
that's it. And then putting my courses online, because another reason I did Free Up for Tuesday was because I thought I wanted to teach one-on-ones, teach you know, like lashes, brows, things like that. And the more I thought about it, I thought, it sounds so awful, this, it's not worth my time.
Yeah, no, you've got to, yeah, that's fine.
um
Worth more.
because it was a
Brilliant.
full day, and I just thought I can earn this being in work. It's like a day
Yeah,
off, you know, it, I don't want to do it. I absolutely love teaching, but to me, it wasn't worth teaching unless I had, say, a minimum 4 on the course.
yeah,
But the problem is because I'm so passionate about beauty, I just don't feel like I can give my full attention with there being that many people in the class. And I
yeah.
don't want to charge someone something if they're not getting the best out of it. I just don't agree with that.
Okay. Yeah.
So I just took that as, you know what, don't do it, don't teach in person, because it's not worth just teaching one person. But I didn't want to teach. I see some salons do like courses of 8 people in it. I just think like something so that needs a lot of effort and time, like lashes, you just can't do it with a class of 8. I remember when I did it, and there was about 15 of us, and it took the teacher about an hour just to get around every person,
just to show you that one.
And I don't, you don't know what you're doing, and you're waiting for them, and I just thought that's not how I want to teach. That's not what I'm about. But I am wanting to work online, but giving really detailed courses to the point where you will literally learn every single thing you need to know without the constant, oh, I didn't learn anything, or I'm not confident. Because I think that's a lot of problems with the training courses, because it's so popular at the minute that people are teaching nowadays all the time, is it's becoming saturated, I think, and it's becoming quick money for salons, and I don't like that. And I feel like I can tell by people, I'm on so many groups and people are like, right, just done this course, what lashes should I use? And it's like, I don't understand why you weren't taught.
Why you don't know.
Yeah, what were you taught with? And that's not what I want to do. I want to build like a really detailed course where, you'll literally learn every single thing you need to know, from starting the business to doing the actual treatment.
So the actual whole business, the learnings of the whole business.
Yeah, because that's another thing you don't learn on courses. You don't actually learn, like me and you both know, you don't learn how to gain clients. You don't learn how to start, what to do. And that's another thing, is I see, like, you might have heard me speak about one of my friends. She invested, I think, like $2.5 grand to do a lip filler course, and she hasn't done a single paying client, because she blames it on the fact that too many people do it and people go to other people. And I'm like, no, it's because you haven't worked consistently on your business, and you don't know how to get clients, and you weren't taught how to do it.
That's the thing, and that is, I think, with all form of training, straight from college, training in PMU, skin, whatever it is, you're taught the craft, but you're not taught how to actually get seen, implement it, streamline the business, get your message out there, find your niche, use your advertising.
And that's the problem. She wasn't taught all of that. And then it was, well, it's because I don't do Botox, that's how people don't come to me. And it was always an excuse, rather than being like, do you know what, I need to invest in myself. I need to actually invest in how I need to do this. And, because it's a lot of money to invest $2.5 grand to do something you're never going to do again. But I feel like there's two sorts of people, isn't there? There's people that know to spend money and invest in because they know it's going to pay back. And there's people that just won't do it because they can't see beyond spending that money.
Definitely. Well, very exciting. I'm really excited. It's really nice that we're working on a one-to-one, because I'm kind of going on this journey with Sophia as well. So, but I want to say though, Sophia, it is a pleasure to work with you, because you're like fucking on it big time. So like, we have a meeting, we talk about what needs to be done, and then 2 weeks later she's like, yeah, I've done it and done more. She's absolutely amazing. But I think having that accountability is a really big thing as well. People maybe shy away from coaching, maybe they don't think that it's worth the money to invest, but to actually have the accountability of knowing that, shit, I've got to get this done, because if SJ sees me next week and I've not done what I said I was going to do, then,
Yeah, it's a bit like having a PT, isn't it? Like,
of course it is,
you know, if you're going to eat shit and you're getting weighed on Monday, you're going to be petrified of going, because you know you would put weight on. And it's a bit similar with you. It's like, shit, she's going to ask me if I've done that, I need to do it. But yeah, I'm very impulsive anyway. I feel like as soon as I get something in my head, I'll go and do it.
You're on it.
But the problem I have is then like 10 other ideas come in my head. Like, I'm like, SJ, I'm doing this now. And you're like, whoa, calm down.
No, I think we've said that on one meeting. I'm like, calm down, like, stop. Let's go back to this one. No, definitely. I think we've got another question. Agreed, and it's your responsibility as a trainer to set your students up to truly fly. Emma Bagel, I believe Emma does training as well. She's PMU background, so she's basically saying, as a trainer, it's up to you.
It is,
because the thing is, if they do well, that's a reflection on you for future trainees, trainers and everything else. So of course, Emma, that's a good comment. Thank you.
Well, for me, it's I feel like the industry is going down a bit, in the sense of the professionalism is going down. Not people are just not professional anymore, and I feel like that really riles me up.
Do you know why? because they're chasing quick wins, it's
Yeah.
like a race to the bottom as well. You know, it's
Yeah.
an absolute race to the bottom. People are training permanent makeup, they're good at it, or they're doing the Botox and the fillers, they're good at it. And then they're like, how can I get seen? I'm not getting enough clients, let me race to the bottom. And then they'll deduct the price, deduct the price, deduct the price.
Yeah, and
And
it's
then,
really frustrating for
yeah, no,
someone,
it is.
you know, not just like me, but I've spent thousands of pounds on coaching, on investments, on, you know, courses, everything to be the best at what I can be. And it really annoys me. And it is something to work on, is seeing other people that have just qualified and then teaching and like, but why are people choosing to go to them? But it's because they're cheap. But then it comes down to knowing your ideal client and knowing that, okay, that's not the student I want anyway.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's what it is people are choosing cheap now, and it's really annoying when people like myself and you are so passionate and knowing, you know, all do things by the book, and then
Yeah.
you're getting people that are just turning up and doing like half a day course and then teaching themselves.
Yeah. But they'll fizzle out. They'll fizzle out.
Yeah, and that's something I
Into.
definitely want to work on, is some, you know, creating a community that is bringing that professionalism back, I
Yeah.
think, and you know.
Brilliant. Well, I knew this would go on longer than half an hour because I knew it would.
I
But
talk a lot, you do as well.
but I want to thank everybody that has commented. Thank you for watching. If you've got any friends that feel that they would benefit from being in this group, then please share the Unstoppable Tribe to them. Obviously, I have to allow access. So people that you already know, don't just invite any Tom, Dick and Harry. And yeah, so Sophia, it has been a pleasure chatting with you, and thank you for sharing your story.
Thanks for having me.
I know, it's been awesome. So I'm going to stop the live now. Sophia, stay on and we can have a quick chat after. Okay, so I'm going to end the live now. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Bye.